Hi Stitchy friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tanya and this is my cross-stitching YouTube channel, Little Kitten Stitches, where I like to just chat about cross-stitch, bag making, and all the other things that catch my fancy. Welcome to my very first flosstube extra. So let's watch me stitch, and I'm just going to talk about all the things that have been going on this month. So just to start off with what I'm stitching, this is the freebie I got when I did the midsummer stitch. The pattern is by Tiny Modernist. It was an exclusive pattern for those who participated in the midsummer stitch. And although I do love the original colorway, I kind of had the urge to do my own thing. So that's why mine looks a lot different than the ones you've probably seen all over flosstube. So first, I had to decide what colors I wanted to use, of course. I chose to just use the scrap fabric that I had that was 14 count printed Ada. I used it with my Frost Dragon cross stitch, and this was just a leftover piece. So I wanted colors that would work better on a white colored fabric instead of the original intended dark colored fabric. So since I'm really shit at choosing colors myself, I kind of just went with the good old Pinterest and got real creative and typed in midsummer color palette. And basically the third one I saw, I like those colors. So then I just went on Google and searched up a DMC color list so that I could kind of color match. The very first color was 500 and something. It was a green 500 and something. And so I pulled out my master set on the 500s. Gonna choose that 500 color for green. And oh, here's the other colors that all match that I like. Purple and a bunch of other colors that I liked. So I basically just chose all the colors in the 500s that looked good together. So yeah, I'm not very creative when it comes to color picking. Let's just choose one color. So, I am also just doing 3 strands over 1, which is my usual for 14 count. And even though it's a really small piece, I still gridded it. I like my grids. They just make things easy. And as you can also see, I am stitching on a stand. Although I really love those Lowry stands, and they're just super expensive. So I just went on Amazon and I just saw this one for 30 bucks, and it works with my Nurge hoops, which I'm actually preferring over Q-snaps anyways. And yeah, it works great. It's very sturdy. I'm not usually a desk stitcher. I like, my preferred stitching spot is laying in bed, sitting up on a bunch of pillows. The head does go up and down quite a bit. I would prefer if it went like an extra 2-inch would be perfect. But it does sit under my bottom as I stitch. And now, instead of stitching only about 100 stitches in an hour when I would hold the hoop with my hand, I can now do about 150 stitches in an hour. So that will hopefully help me get to more finishes faster. Yeah, so I'm really enjoying this stand. Oh, dude. And yeah, just speaking of finishes, I have way too many whips. If you just saw, I did post a whip parade. And yeah, I have way too many. I want to get some of those back down. I'm also, now I'm not buying more hoops. So my rule is, don't have any more projects than hoops. Well, I broke that rule. And then I've kind of also decided that I don't like Q-snaps anymore. I find that the tension will loosen over time. They just, the things that hold the fabric on, they just warp over time, especially since I like my fabric very tight. And I don't remove the hoops or the fabric from my hoops. So it's just, they've been coming very loose, and then I'm having to put more and more like felt under it to just keep them tight. So I've decided I'm getting rid of all my Q-snaps. So now I definitely don't have enough Nurge hoops to have 1 hoop per project. And I'm not buying any more hoops. Now, if my mom decides to buy me a set of Nurge hoops for Christmas, I won't say no to that. But yeah, I'm going to try to get my whips down to as many hoops as I have and just go from there. But I mean, I've already got like 3 or 4 projects that I want to do that are on my wish list, and I've already bought the Flossy Fox Shop's new sale that's starting in September. So I've already got another another new start coming up. So yeah, I mean, flosstube, you guys are horrible influences. So that's that tea. Let's move on. You know, midsummer stitch here. Let's talk about how the midsummer stitch was. That was my very like first community floss tube or floss community cross stitch event. I've never done an in-person one, so when I saw Cross Stitch the Globe do a video about midsummer stitch, I thought that was a great way to just get my toes wet and to a, you know, like a convention, instead of going in person for the first time by myself, being nervous as heck. This virtual one I thought was really great. So you could participate as much or as little as I wanted, and you know, cameras were optional, talking was optional. I'm already used to like typing questions and talking to people online, so yeah, it was great. I loved the whole event. I found so many more YouTubers to subscribe to, and I've been binge watching everyone's channel since. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. It was, you know, no forced, you don't have to force to talk, or just, you know, if you didn't feel comfortable, nobody had to look at you, and you could sit and be your quiet little gremlin self with nobody looking at you. So how it went the first night, there was an intro table by Lindy Stitches, and you could also join just some open tables to talk with other cross stitchers, which I lurked a bit there as well. The first night they also had a finish parade, so like everybody who joined could put up their virtual hand and say, I've got to finish the show. And after a while, I actually worked up the courage and I showed my finish, which was my supernatural cross stitch. It was awesome. And then later that night also, the Hathaway Stitchers and the Thread Gremlins both had a table at the same time that night. I first joined the Hathaway Stitchers because I'm more familiar with them. I was already subscribed to them. But there was a couple issues between there being table limits at that time. And then I did get in originally, but I was kind of messing around with the settings because this was the first time I used this program. And I ended up getting kicked out, not being able to get back in, so I went over to the Thread Gremlins, and it was a happy accident because I ended up loving them, subscribing to their channel, and binge watching them. So, and there was also the Thread, or Cross Stitch Globe was there. It was great. Everything was great, and having a nice chit chat with everybody. They also have what's called speed dating, so that's where you join and you'll be randomly selected to talk to a random cross stitcher for 5 minutes. And you know, it was really nerve-wracking at first. Like, it took me a good 15 minutes to hit the button to say join, to talk to my first person. So I ended up only doing 3 rounds, but really it went well. What really helped me was just having some really basic questions written down in front of me so that, you know, I would know that I had something to talk about. Obviously, we're going to talk about cross stitch, but I don't know. I have social anxiety. Starting and ending conversations are really hard for me. So I just had my practice questions, and yeah, and before you know it, your 5 minutes is up, and you're on to the next person. So, yeah, it was definitely worth it. I did do more speed dating after that, but it was great. You know, I had a good time. The next day, they had several more tables and some classes. I couldn't spend all day. I had some things to do in the morning, but in the afternoon, I was able to join the mason jar lid class and the stitchy box creation class. Both great. I learned some new things. I made my own little jewelry case I had like an Altoid tins thing, so I just decorated that, really basic. And then I also attended Cross Stitch the Globe's table and the girlies table too, and they were so funny and awesome. It was just like their floss tubes, but in real time, and you could talk to them. So I really hope, like, I think I saw Thread Gremlins did a live, but I hope a lot more YouTubers will do some lives with their stitching. And then I think Seattle Stitcher's done a live here and there as well. So it's really great to have some interaction and like really connect with, you know, other floss tubers. And yeah, and although I'm not a Christmas lover, I'm gonna for sure be joining the Jingle Ball in the winter. And maybe someday I'll work up the courage to go to an in-person convention, but we'll see. So yeah, since I said my last video was a whip parade, I didn't talk about my usual, you know, wipgo goals and plans and starts and stuff. So I'm gonna let's go over that now. So just to recap, July's wipgo numbers were 6, which was 5 days on my doggy juice shop. And the official number for July was 23, but I buggered that up and did 23 in February. So instead, I'm doing February's number 24 this time, which was 5 days on my Great White Christmas. I completed those goals very last day, you know, right up to the last minute. And yeah, so I got quite a bit done on my Christmas shark, and I did do one day during the midsummer stitch. So I got a lot of fill-in done. And doggy juice shop, I didn't get, although I got my required days, I actually just didn't end up doing too many stitches. I still like doggy juice shop, but when I got that pattern, it was kind of at the beginning of my cross-stitching journey. So I'm like, I have this fabric, I better get a pattern right away to use this fabric. And so I just went on Etsy and I like that one, and I bought it. It fits. So although I do like it, it's not something that really like touches my heart. So I tend to not pick it up or want to do that one as much. At this point, it's not a UFO, but I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes one. We will see how that one goes. So August's numbers are 12, which is 5 days on my Pokemon, and number 15, which is 5 days on my newer stitch. I'm this old. I just bought the last 50 colors I needed for Pokemon. Originally I thought I'll just work with the colors that I have, but I found that it made me not want to work on it because I want to stitch what I want to stitch when I want to stitch it. So if I'm working on it and I'm like, I want to do this color, oh, I can't do that symbol because I don't have the color. That was just annoying me too much. So I've just bought the last 50 colors. It's fine. It's rounded out my master set nicely, so can't complain. I'm also decided, like, it's such a big project, and when I think, oh, color completing, or I'm going to do all the black, it gets overwhelming. So I think I'm just going to focus on one Pokemon at a time, and it'll feel almost like I'll get a little dopamine hit from like, oh, I finished this Pokemon. I finished that Pokemon. Because I really like I think the bite-sized pieces will just make it easier in the long run to want to work on it. And yeah, and then like in this old piece, it's a very small piece. I bought it on impulse, like I said, in my whip parade. I'm hoping to just like kind of whip that one out and get it as a finishing and get it going. But yeah, we'll work on that one. So plans. So future plans, I want to be a little bit more structured in what I stitch when I stitch. I'm still very like, I want to stitch what I want to stitch when I want to stitch it, but sometimes I've been leaving like whip go for very last minute, and that's not good because shit happens sometimes. Yeah, so I've decided I'm going to make a calendar, and it's going to have like a rotating schedule. So I've already done my calendar up. I'll post a picture. So each day will be, so day 1 is wipgo 1, day 2 will be my choice, and then day 3 will be wipgo number 2, day 4 is my choice, day 4, wait, 1, 2, 3, yeah, day 4, 5 will be either my temperature stitch or a sal that I am doing. So I think, and that will work out to each one of those wipgos, and my temperature chart or my sal will get 5 days each month. So that works with my wipgo goals, but I still get to do my choices on a regular basis. And then even sometimes at the end of the month, there'll either be a buffer because there'll be an extra day or two, or I get to choose whatever random I want to work on. Yeah, so now my common theme of this chat is that I have too many whips and I want to get things done. So I'm going to start a new project. If I haven't already mentioned, I have already bought Flossy Fox Shop's new Night of the Frost Dragon Sal. I've loved all her patterns and I could just never pick one, or, you know, I've already had too many whips, so I just didn't start one of her. So I said her last Sal, I kind of regretted not doing that one because it's gorgeous. So at that time I said, her next Sal, I'm doing it. Screw it, I'm going to do her next Sal. So that's what I'm doing. I've bought it. I've got my fabric. I've got all my floss ready to go. So for now, I'm going to do my temp Sal on my third schedule day, and to catch up. And then after that, it's going to be the Sal. And that starts in September. So hopefully that should give me enough time to catch up on my temperature Sal. So hopefully I've got a good chunk of this midsummer stitch done. Yes, it is a voiceover because I can't stitch and talk at the same time. As my grandpa would like to say, I can't walk and chew gum. So yeah, it was a bit of a chat. And, you know, let me know if you like this format. It was a lot of fun. I could see myself doing this again. Maybe, you know, this midsummer stitch will be video exclusive. So I only work on it when I got shit to talk about. I probably won't do like an August floss tube because I was late with July's floss tube, so now it's already the mid-August when my whip parade was posted. So this will kind of be the end of August's video. So my next video probably won't be till the end of September, but we had a lot to talk about. Thanks for watching, and you know, like, subscribe, leave me a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Feel free to continue watching me stitch while listening to this random music. Until next time, bye.